everybody. My name's Larry Shakman. I want to welcome you to Living in Naperville. This is our first inaugural broadcast of this great podcast. We're going to be interviewing people in and around Naperville that make a difference in Naperville, own a great business in Naperville. And today we're going to be talking to Rich Kolar, who is a longtime resident of Naperville and also a photographer who's been taking pictures in and around Naperville for a long time. Rich has been living in Naperville for 40 years. And my name's Larry Shakman. I'm one of the team leads at Lux Group at eXp Realty. If you're looking for your first home, if you're looking for that dream home you're about to move into, or if you're looking for an investment property in Naperville or anywhere in and around Chicago Metro, give us a call. We'd love to help you. So without any further ado, let's bring Rich on. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
And there he is. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Doing awesome. Good to see you this morning.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the holiday weekend, right?
I was going to say you're probably getting ready to spend all that time with your grandkids.
Actually, I won't see them tomorrow. They'll be in with other in-laws and everything like that. So we do more of the Christmas holidays with them.
Gotcha. Well, it's something to look forward to. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk to you today, Rich, because so you're not only a longtime resident of Naperville, but a photographer as well. And you've been taking these amazing shots in and around Naperville for how many years?
Well, I've lived in Naperville. My wife and I moved here in 1979, so we've been here for 42 years, and obviously raised our 4 children here, and they all went through school. We've got actually our daughter still lives in Naperville. She married a young man from that went to the other school, Naperville North. All our kids went to Naperville Central. And now three of my 6 grandchildren live about 2 miles from us here in Naperville.
I mean, what a great thing to be able to see them whenever you want, spoil them, and then go home. Right?
For sure.
So we're going to talk about some of the shots you've taken and why these are so special to you. And so one thing I want to ask you real quick. What do you think the population was when you moved into Naperville?
Well, I can tell you it was right around 44,000 people. Because I always tell people, it was 44,000 back then, and now it's basically tripled. But I said, well, when it was just my wife and I, we definitely tripled our family from 2 to 6.
Yeah.
So we kept right up with the population trends.
Yeah, you synced right up with that. So we're going to take a look at some of these pictures, and I'm going to bring one up now. Bear with me for 1 second here. And the first one I'm going to bring up is the picture of the bridge at the Riverwalk.
Right.
Can you see that?
Not yet. It's still trying to connect. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's there.
Okay, awesome. So this is an interesting shot, and I've taken this shot myself a few times. I'm sure a lot of people have that have come through Naperville. But I notice you've done some interesting things with this. So tell us about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, this was actually a photo that I took for a client. This photo, if you actually go into one of the financial advisors here in Naperville, you'll see this photo in her boardroom on the wall. She had wanted a photo somewhere along the Riverwalk, so I went ahead and took probably several hundred shots. But I knew when I took this one that this was the one she was going to select, because it met all her criteria, and I had a real good sky, which is very important when you do photography also. And I had obviously some color on the left, and I had obviously one of the covered bridges, which Naperville is noted for. So she had actually wanted, for this particular photo, divided in, she wanted a canvas photo, and she wanted 3 different panels, per se. I forget the actual name of this style, but it's triglyphs or something like that.
Right.
So each of these particular panels are 36 inches high by 24 inches wide. And it works out really nice. I mean, it really looks nice in her office. And, what I did with this photo, obviously, you want to capture, obviously, the water. You want to capture the bridge. And it's always good to have a little bit of contrasting color this was taken in the spring, and the yellows and the oranges and the reds on the left-hand side with some of those spring plantings along the Riverwalk just kind of worked out really well, and kind of draws you into the picture and gives you really a 3-dimensional look.
Yeah.
Along the river here.
Yeah, it's a great shot, and I could picture this on somebody's wall. A big is it a large format picture on her wall, or is it a
well, like I said, it's a canvas print. This was actually done in canvas, so there's no frame around it. And like I said, what you see, I mean, it's literally the whole photo is 3 feet high by 24, so 6 feet wide.
Yeah, so that's what I was getting at. This has to look amazing in there,
right?
Like that. That has to be a really wow moment when you walk into an office and see.
Right.
Yeah, a beautiful picture. Let's you sent me another picture, and I'm going to stop this share in a second here. So you sent another picture of a really, really cool, it's a winter scene, but it almost looks like it could be a summer scene early in the morning. I mean, there's some snow there, but if you didn't look closely at it, it just looks like that warmth in that picture, right? But it's winter.
Oh yeah, it definitely was not warm that day. In fact, it was probably around 0. It was this was taken back in I think January or February earlier this year.
Okay, so this is a recent picture, and let's take a look at this. Yeah, I mean, you can see the snow there, right? So it's right. Winter time, but there's the sun. What an awesome picture. Are you seeing this okay?
Oh yeah, I've got this fine. Okay. Yeah, this is actually photos that I did send you. Are 3 of my favorite spots to take photos in Naperville. This one happens to be DuPage River Park, and I can walk here from my house. And this particular morning, I didn't walk. I went over to the parking lot because it's about a half mile from my house. But this is a great bend in the DuPage River. This was taken shortly after sunrise, obviously. And there's usually, a fair amount of wildlife in the area. Sometimes I'm lucky I catch a deer on the other side of the river. This morning, obviously, that particular morning, obviously, I caught some early morning ducks flying in. And there's also a pair of eagles. I haven't been able to catch a really good shot of them along the DuPage River, but they nest somewhere near Wayland Lake along the DuPage River. And one of these days, that's my goal, is to really get a good shot of them flying in the air, or at least them. Yeah,
I'll bet you've had some great shots at Wayland Lake too, because I'm assuming you could get some great early morning shots there.
Oh yeah. And fortunately, I'm a morning person, so I get up, and it's most of the time it's just me and the dog walkers.
Yeah, right, and the dogs.
And the dogs, right.
All right, so the other picture that you sent us was a shot of, and I'm going there right now. Give me a second.
Okay.
Was a shot of. It looks like the prairie. I think this is Springbrook, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
And that's a beautiful picture.
Yes, yeah. Springbrook Prairie, surprisingly, up until about 8 years ago, I had never been there. And there was another photographer said, let's meet out at Springbrook. And I knew where it was. And we went out there. And now, in the past, since the start of the pandemic, I've really kind of explored all of it. I've walked all the different trails. This is a spot in Naperville where if you want to take sunset pictures, this is probably one of the few spots actually that you can actually take a good sunset photo without buildings, in the background. You can, because you get the prairie, and you can see obviously the three photos. I do a lot of water in my photos because water gives you some reflections, and obviously this one you can see the little bit of the sun reflection. And you can there's a whole different variety of photos that you can take. And again, here, this was one I think I took probably last spring of 2020. And you can go here, all 4 seasons and get, from the same spot and get a variety of different photos. You can get the prairie in bloom. Obviously during the summer, you can get more of a winter. You can get the fall plantings. You can get the spring plantings. So
yeah.
It's a great area to take a wide variety of shots all year.
Yeah, and they have a great bike path through there too. I literally live right down the street from Springbrook, so I'm like at Modaf, right around West Glen, Brighton Ridge, that area. So I ride my bike through there often.
Right.
And I've actually done some videos where I'm riding my bike through there and I'm just holding my camera as I'm riding. And it's just really cool because it's just it's a really neat little nature area where you can go and, like you said, get some great pictures.
Right.
And also just enjoy it. It's a really nice place.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I have a question for you. So all these shots are great shots, right? Do you have any way that you specifically frame these up, or is it really just in the moment and how things look at the time?
Well, there are. It actually, it depends. Sometimes I'll go out and like for the sunsets. A lot of times I'll be doing, especially in the summer, I'll be doing dishes by the kitchen window, and I'll look outside and I'm going, oh my God, the sunset's going to look gorgeous. And I literally will stop what I'm doing, kind of yell to my wife, I'll be back in 45 minutes. And when I do that, she knows exactly what I'm going to be doing, going out and taking photos. And then I'll run over, and because, obviously the sun doesn't stop. You got to catch it in its moment. And I'll get to a couple of different spots. One is right off the main parking lot there, and try to get some photos. So there are certain places like this particular photo where I've been to a number of times, so I know exactly how I want to frame it. Other areas where obviously it is in the moment. If you obviously have any kind of wildlife show up. I've walked the paths in Naperville and Patriot Park and come across deer. And, a lot of times a deer, they say deer in a headlight. Well, deer in a camera frame, they're kind of looking at me, and I got to snap off a couple of really quick photos before they decide, they know I'm not a threat because they're usually looking at me, but they bound off pretty quickly. So you got to take some quick shots. And if you can get closer to them, as I tell people, get a shot really quick. You can, kind of do some things in post-editing if you don't like it. And then you can kind of move 1 or 2 steps closer and take another photo 1 or 2 steps closer. And eventually they're gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are all just great shots, and we're going to wrap it up, but I want to ask you, if somebody do you do a lot of pictures like for corporate and, for people that, for instance, like that example you used where she's hanging that canvas print up in her shop for that wow moment when someone walks in their office. Do you do that typically for other corporate clients?
I didn't in this particular case. I actually took a photo when we were unwrapping it. I didn't have it hanging on the wall because she was going to have a professional person come in and do all the alignment. So I had to leave and couldn't spend the time that day. But I've done some various different things. I had earlier this summer, I had a gentleman, contractor who had done some work on a house. He said, "Hey, can you come on over? I've got a couple of subcontractors that want you to show off what they've done with their house." And he said, "I really can't get it on my iPhone." And I said, "Sure, I'll come on over and take some photos." So I went over, and obviously I said, "Okay, well, it depends on the time of day." I said, "These types of shots are best probably at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and here's the different angles that I'll take." And I talked to the homeowner, and I got those shots also back to the homeowner. And it's knowing that the lighting, natural lighting, is something very important with photos. I mean, this particular shot that you're looking at here, I can only take this for about 10 minutes, and that's about it.
Yeah.
So you really have, one thing that I've done since I've become a photographer instead of just taking pictures is understanding lighting and natural lighting, because I don't do a lot of indoor photography. So that is very important.
Lighting is super important when it comes to photography and videos. I mean, even just doing a video like this, a podcast or some other video you might do for YouTube or something. Lighting is everything, right?
Sure. Oh yeah.
It really is. Well, Rich, this has been amazing. Thanks for taking the time. And so if someone wants to get in touch with you, first, let's give them your website address. What is that?
Okay, it's a little bit of a long one. In fact, I need to pull this out of my wallet here. It's the start of it is my name, Rich Kolar, and the last name is Kolar, and then it's a dot, and then it's Prestige Proofs. So PRESTIGEPROOFs.com. I do all my printing locally, which is I like to keep local businesses in touch. So I do this all out at ProCam Camera and Video, which is right on the border between Naperville and Aurora.
I just bought my box light from them.
Right. It's obviously the old Wolf camera from many years ago. Talking changes. Mm-hmm. So that's where I do all my printing and buy all my equipment.
Well, listen, I also have your email address. I'm going to put that in info on the file we post, so everybody has it. And again, just thanks for visiting with us. These are great photographs.
Thank you.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you very much, Larry.
Okay. Thanks for joining us, Rich. We'll talk to you again.
Sure. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.